The Real Estate Story is an insight into our industry through real-life stories. With a combination of special industry guests, our team and my personal past experiences will bring you weekly stories and insights. We hope some of our stories will put a smile on your face, but all the stories and experiences, importantly, leave you with greater knowledge of the real estate and property industries. Well, how exciting. We're here live from our West Footscray studio, The Real Estate Story, and I am delighted to have some great special guests with me today. Our fourth episode in our series. I'm calling it a series. I have no idea when the series is going to end, but we're just going to make it all happen. I'm delighted to have Cate Bakos here with me as my special guest, and Jayne Humphries, one of our senior property manager from the Compton Green team. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolute pleasure. Your voice, seriously, is the best for this. It's amazing.
Thank you, Kate. Full of compliments. I like it. Bring it on. But it's important. It's great to have you both here today, and I'm really excited to, I guess, be talking to you both today. But I'm going to start with Kate as my special guest. Kate, I really would like to go over a few questions and understand more about you and your business and what you bring to the industry, of course. So tell me, Kate, about Cate Bakos Property.
Yeah, well, Cate Bakos Property is beyond Kate. There's 5 of us, and we have a lot of fun in our team. We're buyers advocates or buyers agents, which means we buy properties for clients, we assess properties, we bid, we negotiate, we help investors. We do a lot of strategy work with people as well. But essentially, it's a very similar role to what your guys do as selling agents. We're just working on the other side of the fence.
And Kate, how long has Cate Bakos Property been operating?
Just on 6 years now. I went out on my own after working as a co-director for a firm that do buyers agency and other things, and I set up in Yarraville 6 years ago, and we've been living the dream ever since, AB.
Living the dream, running your own business these days. How exciting is that? So what brought you into buyer advocacy? Why? Why are you a buyer advocate?
Well, I didn't start with property in my veins. I didn't come from a family of property people. I was actually a chemist, and I wasn't a very good one, and I was way more interested in property than chemistry. So, it started when I was in my teens. I bought my first investment property when I was 21, and, the rest is history. I had a CV like a patchwork quilt for a while there. I went into real estate sales in my 20s and loved it, learnt a lot, learned about all the things that happen in an agency and how to look after vendors and what the cycle of selling is all about. But there was something there that really gripped me with the numbers and the strategy. I loved the research, and I saw myself as someone who could step into a bit of an advisory role. And I worked as a mortgage broker during the GFC when I had a little one on the way, and then when Gab was little. And after 4.5 years of that, I missed property terribly. So I went straight back into it, but as a buyer's agent, and it's really been the perfect job for me.
Kate, you've certainly got a great profile from what I can see, and you're a great person within our industry, giving back quite a lot. Tell us a little bit about your industry connections, because I know you're actively giving back. Tell us a bit more about that.
I love this industry. It's one of the most vibrant and fulfilling industries, and I get to meet so many different people, from country real estate agents to young recruits. I get to talk to a lot of buyers agents around Melbourne, interstate. So giving back feels great, and you know what you put out there, you do get back. I've got a great relationship with a lot of people in the industry, but in particular, I've got I have a president role with REBA, which is our Industry Association for Buyers Agents, and that's a national body. So I get to talk to a lot of senior BAs, and we really get to put our mark on the industry. And for me, it's all about lifting standards and helping people understand just how amazing this industry is, and shining a spotlight on the really good people, because I think a lot of us, a lot of people out there have the wrong attitude about real estate agents, because there's always a seedy few that wreck it for everyone else. But the reality is, real estate agents, whether we're buyers agents or selling agents, we work very hard and we care about our relationships long term. It's not a transactional job, it's a relationship job, and it's a lifestyle. You've really got to embrace it and be okay with it to succeed in it.
So back up a little bit. Yep. President.
Yes.
President of the Buyers Advocates Association.
Real estate Buyers Agents Association of Australia.
Wow. Now, I did know this, but I'm delighted. Now, tell me, you're a busy person. How do you
Yes.
fit in being president?
I always say to people, if you say yes to something, you'll make it work. You say yes, you do it. Some nights I work pretty late. Some Sundays I don't get my one day off a week. But if you're engaged in what you're doing and you love it and your family are okay with it, you know how that rolls. Your family have to be okay with your commitment. And that's probably the biggest juggle, because I can immerse myself in stuff and turn around and I've lost 4 hours. Well, that 4 hours for me might have felt like 5 minutes, but for them I've ruined half a day. So it's all about managing your loved ones as well, making sure you don't rip them off.
So you manage your time. Give us and our listeners an insight into the day in the life of Cate Bakos.
Well, I start early. You can get a lot done before the phones start ringing, and no offence to selling agents, but they don't tend to start before 9. So if I'm in the office at 7:15, I can smash out a couple of hours work without any interruption. And the day at 9 o'clock, what you think you've got in front of you changes dramatically. It's just surprise city in our industry. You can be swimming along beautifully and you think you've got your appointments lined up and some negotiations underway, and all you need is one phone call with one little bushfire that you have to put out, and your whole day has changed. It might be solicitors called, or they've found something out about a property on its title plan or whatever, and everything that you thought was in front of you turns to chaos. And that is something I love about my day. Every day is a surprise. Our job is to navigate the storm and to deal with challenges, and also to make sure our clients don't feel despondent or upset about it. We've got to get them back on the horse. Once a property is a no-go, we get them back on the horse and we find another one.
Kate, you're certainly active in the industry, and you've got busy days, and you're a mum. You've got a young daughter, and I know a busy lifestyle. But what's the most important detail when you're dealing with clients specifically? I want to talk about the most important detail when dealing with that client. Obviously, running a business is one thing, a family is another thing, but I imagine some clients are challenging. But
yes,
give me some of the detail.
Well, you get challenging clients and you get challenging situations, and understanding what's making it challenging and being really upfront about it. Like when you're a listing agent, you've got a problem. You talk about the problem. If you brush it under the carpet or you try and make it better, you're carrying all of this on your shoulders and you're not equipping them with the knowledge to make a good decision. So, for example, if I've got a client that's being difficult, they're not trying to be difficult. They're facing a challenge that I haven't yet understood. So being able to talk about stuff in a robust way, being able to tell someone what they don't want to hear. Sometimes you have to say to someone something that they're not going to be pleased about, but they will appreciate you being honest with them and having a solution or two for them to consider. But if a property is problematic, you've got to work out, can this problem be changed? Can it be changed without overcapitalisation? Can we navigate through this? And it's all about always investigating, what are the options, and do we still want to go ahead with it? When it's a client though, if they're being problematic, it's because I'm not dealing with the problem. It might be that their partner isn't on board, or they are terrified of committing to something. So they're saying they want to invest, but when you put the contract in front of them, they're really nervous about it. So I've got to work out what I can do to give them confidence and comfort to make a decision.
I think great answer. But tell me, when you are dealing with those clients, is it the client leading you to the property, or you leading the client?
It has to be us leading the client. If the client is leading me to a property, it means I've either missed it, which is bad, or they've chosen something that's not in their strategy. If it's not in their strategy, the question is, are we changing your strategy, or are you trying to do my job? And you've just got to tell them why it's a no-go. And it's all about being pretty black and white. My job's to get them a great result, not to have them think I'm the friendliest person in the world. It's to have them get a great result. The rest is a bonus.
Tell me, have you, in the case of either a client's recommended a property or you've identified a property, and for whatever reason you've just said, no, we're not buying this property. Tell me when it's all deals are off. What's the put off? Why wouldn't you buy it? Give us some insights.
I won't buy a property that has a compromise that will have it underperform. So, if we've discovered that let's say the client wants to do a subdivision project down the track, and we find out it's got an easement across it, or let's say it's got a single dwelling covenant, something that we discover about the property that doesn't suit the brief, then it's a natural no. It's when it's shades of grey that it gets really hard, and it might be that we're on 2 or 3 properties for a client, and you prioritise them in order of preference. But sometimes the preferential order changes when price comes into it. If an agent rings me up and says, "Look, I'm just letting you know the property that you're interested in, I've lost my leading buyer. Vendor's pretty motivated to sell it. Are you still on it?" Well, that property might move up to number 1 position from number 3 position if I think the price and the value stacks up in a more exciting way than I initially thought. So little things like that can change a property. But the things that determine it is a no relate to value, budget, not suiting the client's brief. I had a client the other day who was absolutely confident about wanting a particular school zone, and then they showed me a property that's not in the school zone. And I said to them, "We had this conversation, and I asked you, nice to have or deal breaker?"
It's their prerogative. They can change their mind.
Deal breaker.
Oh, deal breaker.
It's a deal breaker. So you're not going to get into the zone you wanted. We're not doing this. They would have had to put up a really good argument to demonstrate why they're changing their mind. Anyway, I overruled them. That's what they're paying me for.
I've lost you there for a second.
Still here.
Yeah, still there. I